There in social media land, it's Coach Aaron, brought to you by Promethean Coaching. Don't forget to visit us at Milo, M-I-L-O, procoach.com, MILOPROCOACH.com for mobile stretch therapy, hypervolt massage gun therapy, Q-show pressure point therapy, and corrective exercise. Don't live in pain. Get back to the things you love. So if you're living with chronic pain, you've been suffering from chronic back pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain, any kind of joint pain, contact me right away, miloprocoach.com. Link will be in the description, of course. So Promethean Coaching, mobile stretch therapy, hypervolt therapy, corrective exercise, and Q-show pressure point therapy is available to you now in the local area, from Somerville to the beaches. So we come to you. So today's topic is going to be, again, we're going to touch on muscle imbalances and how those can drastically affect your athletic performance, your day-to-day life. You also start to develop chronic syndromes. And I use the example, the bicep, overdeveloping your biceps will cause your triceps to become more flaccid and stretched out, therefore weakened. And I mentioned in the last video that if you're working on your biceps, and it's good to build your guns, however, if you overuse your biceps and they stay in a state of flexion, a state of bent elbow flexion to some degree, most people don't realize that the flexion is actually there until I do a movement assessment on their shoulders, typically getting them to move their arms, both arms straight above their head. When that happens, we see their elbows are in a state of flexion, their hands are closer to the center line, they're not straight up as they thought they could be. We would then tell them, all right, we need to stretch your biceps, and then we need to strengthen your triceps. So muscular imbalance, as I touched on with the bicep versus tricep complex, we're going to talk about it as well when it comes to how you ambulate, how you move. Get that squirrel. Gotta love the cat. So ambulation is just simply the ability to move from point A to point B. Your body will find a way to do it. It will find any way to do it. So it'll establish a homeostasis of sorts to get you up and moving, because it knows it's just a matter of for your survival. It doesn't necessarily mean that the pattern of movement is going to be good and healthy or expected to be something done over the long term. So when we protract the effects of tight muscles, chronically overused muscles, chronically overstimulated muscles, chronically overactive muscles, they then start to have a negative response to when you go to ambulate. They are so tight they don't want to move, which then forces your body in other ways to compensate to allow you to continue to move in the most efficient way possible. A great way to actually understand the progression of this is the difficulty in sitting and standing in a chair after a leg workout. You will find any way to get out of that chair to take the pressure off of those sore muscles, those tight muscles. You'll use your hands, you'll press out to the sides, you'll do everything you possibly can do to avoid the pain, which means moving in sometimes unnatural ways. You'll throw yourself with momentum, etc. So consider it. Think about if you sprained your ankle. You still got to move. You wouldn't just lay there on the ground and say, oh, I'm done for. Please carry on without me. No, you'd get up and go. But now you're kind of hopping. You got your knee bent. You notice how it doesn't just affect the ankle. Imagine you sprained your ankle and you're trying to walk around. How many of us are going to keep our knee bent? You didn't sprain your knee, but your knee is now bent. Why is that? It's an automatic response. You didn't think, okay, bend knee, okay. You just automatically do it. The autonomic nervous system takes over in response to the pain. So it's going to affect your body up and down that chain. So if you think of your bones as kind of a chain, and then your muscles is kind of like, like the rubber on top of a rubberized chain, it's going to have a response within that chain, both affecting the rubber and also affecting the position of the chain itself, your bones yourself. So you're changing the position of your femur and your tibia and fibia because you had a tarsal problem. So when you have injury, something as minor as a strained ankle or sprained ankle, Or you have something major. You have a slip disc in your back. You have a herniated or a bulging disc in your back. There are ways that you can actually minimize the pain and regain much of your mobility through stretching. And that's where progressive stretch therapy can come to the rescue, help you avoid shots. Many times become ineffective over time. Sometimes it can cause nerve damage itself over time. Why else would you not think that? If you have your nerve, assuming this finger is a nerve, and you continue to stick a needle in it to deaden pain, you literally are poking holes in it. Do you not think that's going to damage your nerve over time and cause permanent problems? Of course it will. So avoid the injections as long as possible and avoid unnecessary surgeries. A lot of times surgeries may go in to fix the one problem that they're going in to fix but cause others. So it's one of the things that we do recommend is that try stretch therapy as a means to stave off the needle and the surgeon for as long as possible. So if you have a condition to where you have overactive muscles on one side of a bone, typically like a bicep or a tricep situation, and you have underactive muscles on the other side, those muscles being so stretched out all the time, okay, they're still under tension of sorts because they're being stretched out. That's why it's going to feel really good when someone pushes down on it. A good example of this to further the thought process, and then I'll get into another video about upper cross syndrome. Upper cross syndrome is usually referring to protracted shoulders, forward head posture, basically someone that's like this. You rounded upper back. I'm doing an exaggerated pose, so you will probably see people texting like this, people working at a desk like this, people working in small spaces like this for hours at a time. And that's not healthy. So that causes forward head posture or cervical lordosis, which is an unnatural extension of the head, and also the upper rounding of the back. It's the kyphosis. So, another squirrel interruption. Gotta love the cat. So the rounding of the upper back, the kyphosis, and the forward head posture causes chronic pain, typically right between your shoulder blades. Think about that. This would be your spine, and this would be your head. I know it's not a good approximation. And the more it pushes forward, you're going to start to feel tension right there. That's the same proximate position where your rhomboids are right between your scapula would be. It's because that's trying to stop from popping off because you're basically levering everything forward from that position. So we get in there and we use the hypervolt to first get that area to stop sending pain signals as much, get that area to stop being overly tight because it has to tighten down to keep the head from falling forward anymore. But we also at the same time want to stretch your chest. Your chest itself is being pushed in. It's contracting in. If you push your shoulders forward, you actually wind up with a tightened chest area. So we would target the chest as the tight side, and then we strengthen the upper back as your weak side. So we actually bring equipment. I'll bring equipment to your session to actually strengthen the muscles so we can do on-site corrective exercise so we can fix the problem. It's not just about taking the tight muscles and making them loose again. It's always about rebalancing the body. And the best way to do that is to strengthen the muscles that are the opposing muscles that have become weakened. And they become weakened because they come in a stretched out state. We have a rule in stretch therapy: we don't stretch an already stretched muscle. So you will discover through sessions where you're weak, where you're tight, and then we'll give you a very simple program on actually how to fix that. If you adhere to a program, typically 2 to 3 times a week is recommended for a session to go at least a half hour, 2 to 3 times a week, you'll actually see some progress. And every time I see you, I will do, of course, hypervolt therapy to get the fascia and the knots out and to focus on particular areas of pain. Will do the progressive stretch, and will do pressure point therapy while doing that stretch, which makes mine very unique. Okay, I'm training Kyusho. And also I'll do corrective exercise as the follow-up to all of that. I bring all equipment with me. All you have to do is just pick a day and time and a payment method, either PayPal, credit card, or cash. It's your choice. And then we go from there. I write up a simple assessment when I see you, identifying these areas based upon the movement assessment. And then after that, the stretch does verify all of what I actually observe. It's easy to pick these things out once you've been trained. It's easy to understand them with the experience that I have over 30 years of experience on how the body should properly move. And it's something that you really need to take advantage of, is the knowledge that I have to be able to help you develop a very simple program that you can largely do on your own in your home once I've trained you to do that. If you prefer going to a gym and have me take you to an official gym setting, I can. I have access to a few local gyms. We can go in there, you can bring you as a guest, and we can show you how to use a gym if you prefer to do some of the corrective exercise moves. They'll be very isolated, they'll be very small. You don't expect to get hot and sweaty. That's not the same as personal training, okay? Even though I am an ACE certified personal trainer. So we can help you correct these muscular imbalances, and by doing so, you'll actually regain your mobility in a healthy way. You'll ambulate in a healthy way again without actually putting your body in a compromised position. We'll make sure that you don't violate the proper ambulation patterns that you should. Of course, certain modalities of movement are going to return to normal, and you'll notice that your day-to-day pain is going to be greatly reduced. You'll be able to get back to the things you love and stop living in pain, and that's what I offer through Promethean Coaching's Progressive Stretch, Hypervolt, Acute Pressure Point, and Corrective Exercise Service. I come to you. So go to miloprocoach.com. That's MILOPROCOACH. Just Milo, the name, like Milo and Otis, procoach.com. You can also text me, preferably text me. It comes right to my cell, and we can then choose a day or choose a time for me to then give you a call, because I'm usually with clients. I service quite a few people already, so it's a matter of just simply getting the schedule done. After that, you get your free intro session, and after that, you can then say, wow, you will be convinced after the first one, because you will actually see relief after the first session. You will feel better after the first session. You will move better after the first session. At that point, we can sit down and look at the programs together and you can choose what's appropriate for you. Okay, so check me out, miloprocoach.com. Very easy link in the description. Share this with friends, share this with family, anyone you think that can benefit from me coming to them. It prevents that person having to show up at a location they're not really sure about, or now they're in front of a bunch of random people. I can come to your job, I can come to your house, I can come to your clubhouse. Do you want to have a stretch party? I can do multiple people at one time. If you want to do everyone just takes turns. And if you want me to come to your gym, I can do a lot there as well. It's just a matter of what's your comfort zone. Where do you prefer to go? So contact me. All right. Take care.